In this video, we are going to be covering the hottest NFT and Web3 news that you've missed. Now, diving right into it, let's go ahead and take a look at what's going on in the macro markets overall. So as we know, over the past 2 weeks, Bitcoin has pumped a lot, all the way from $26,000 all the way to $34,000, which is a pretty significant increase in over 2 weeks, right? We haven't necessarily seen that spill over too much into Ethereum quite yet. And a lot of people speculate that people will eventually take profits from Bitcoin and move it into smaller coins like Ethereum, then other layer ones like Solana, and even potentially gaming coins as well, which is why you hear a really big narrative around gaming tokens, right? You see people like Alex Becker, Elio Trades, which probably have incentives for gaming tokens to go up, right? You know, you hear all these people talk about gaming is going to be next, it's going to be different, you know, it's going to separate from the S&P 500, it's going to separate from the rest of crypto, which is definitely a real possibility, okay? So there are gains to be made if you are paying attention to the market. And right now it seems like the two big ones are going to be IP, which we'll talk about in this video, as well as gaming. You also want to keep in mind about the fear and greed index. Although this is not always the most accurate indicator, it does give you a gist of like what's going on, and I found it to be pretty accurate over the past 2 years of me like using this. Right now we're in a greedy space, right? Because Bitcoin went up and a lot of people are starting to buy, and also at the same time maybe people are selling as well, right? So people who are more veterans in the space, they see it as an opportunity to sell to people who are rushing in. So if you're new, you want to be very mindful of that, because people are selling as you are greedy. So now let's get into what's going on in the NFT space. And the first project we're going to be talking about is going to be Azuki Beanz. So as you may or may not have seen, Beanz, which is the sub brand by Azuki, or one of their brands, which is more of the cute, cool, kind of like Hello Kitty kind of vibe, they are creating this toy called the Mind of Gus. And Gus is going to be one of their more popular characters when it comes to the Beanz ecosystem. You can see very recognizable character with the angry looking face. Is kind of funny. I showed it to people who are outside of Web3 and they also like this figurine as well. So it is a cute figurine. It's going to be a luxury where 530 vinyls will be available for Beanz holders. You have to enter a raffle to win, but I believe if you have all the different colors of the beans, you're guaranteed to win, right? So a lot of people who have all the beans are saying this is the most expensive vinyl I've ever got, right? Which is actually true. So shipping costs, raffle winners, we only need to pay shipping. Domestic shipping is 25, international is 40. Yeah, and each vinyl is going to be linked with a physical back token. So Azuki, in my personal opinion, has been doing a pretty good job when it comes to creating IP, like so these concept characters that they can use for at first NFTs, then they're using for, you know, line stickers. Now they're doing vinyl figurines. So this is probably one of the better contenders when it comes to a Web3 brand actually moving into Web2, or just becoming a larger brand in general. And you can see from Wiz, who I believe is part of the growth team at Azuki, wrote this whole Substack article about why they decided to do designer toys, how big the market is. They're going to be referencing things like Bear Brick, probably like Cause and things like that. The person that actually designed it is this guy named SK Lam, who did these ducks in Hong Kong, did the Cause, these large balloons. Quite a famous artist, and I definitely have seen this in person myself many years ago. Pretty elite, I would say, pretty legit. Good luck to everyone who entered the raffle to win these beans. Now we're going to move into another IP focused project, and that's going to be Claynosaurz. So Claynosaurz is going to be one of the stronger projects on Solana. You can see they kind of have these like 3D moving dinosaurs, the animations itself. It's looking pretty good. If you go onto their marketplace, you know, you're going to see all the different Claynosaurz that they have available. Personally, I think it is quite an interesting character that it's believable that people would buy like toys and plushies that are related to those characters. So some interesting news that they came out with is that number one, they are going to be entering the plushies market. So I guess merchandise, right? So selling plushies and toys and things of that nature. We've seen Pudgy Penguins really run strong with that narrative. We see Beanz moving into that narrative. So this is going to be another project entering that space as well. You know, to be fair, you know, this could be something. To be honest, if you go on their website, you can kind of see like they're doing Instagram, TikTok, they got characters, they got story, they got landscapes, they got a lot of things when it comes to building the world of IP. Right now, their Instagram's not really popping quite yet. They just released 2 animations, so just 700 followers for now, but I believe they can get this up. One challenge I do see though is that because it's like this high quality 3D asset, I wonder how difficult it is to actually create content consistently versus something like Pudgy Penguins, where it probably is not super expensive to do those 2D animations. One thing that did kind of impress me is one of the founders or co-founders and creative director of Claynosaurz kind of wrote down his whole approach to creating the IP, right? So kind of explaining what IP is, right? Which is not just a drawing, but it's an entire concept you can build a world out of. And so it's very thoughtful of how he decided to build the characters, what key attributes make these dinosaurs attractive, why even choose dinosaurs versus any other type of species or animals, how the world looks like, different places these dinosaurs can interact with each other. So I mean, I'm not going to go through the whole like Twitter post, but if you want to follow him, his name's Cab Animation on Twitter, where you can kind of see his thought process on how he's developing this brand. So overall, I like it. I think it's a believable narrative. It is one of the stronger Solana projects. I don't have any affiliation to them, but it's just work that I recognize and think is pretty good. So now we're going to move into some other projects, and that's going to be Meme Coin. This is going to be one of the larger coins that are using NFTs as a form of marketing. And what actually is pumping the price of Captains, which is the NFT that is kind of doing the marketing for Meme Coin, is they are going to be listed on Binance's launch pool. So what does this mean and how does this affect Captains? At a point, Captains was at like a 4 ETH, 3 ETH floor, and then now it's pumping all the way to, you know, 6 ETH, right? So why is the price of this almost doubling over the past, you know, a week or so? The reason is because Meme Coin is going to be launched on the Binance launch pool. What this really is Binance wants volume onto their platform. They want people to buy and sell crypto on Binance so that they are able to make money on every trade, or there's many ways Binance makes money as an exchange, right? So what they're doing is when they list a coin on Binance, it makes it very easy for people to buy this token, whether it's to speculate, buy and sell, trade, invest, whatever the case is, very easily because they already have a Binance account, right? So there's more liquidity, meaning there's more people who'll be like, oh, you're buying meme, I'm buying meme too. And then that's how the cycle goes. So how they're getting people to be incentivized to stake their money for meme, right, is this. If you stake BNB, which is Binance's token, stake TUSD or FDUSD, which are stable coins. I don't know the exact history of who owns these, but I'm sure Binance has some kind of connection to it. Otherwise, they wouldn't put these there. If you stake these assets or coins, you will be farming, right? Be given free meme tokens, right? So the more of these you buy, the more meme that you get. So Binance, for them, they're like, we got to get as many people to buy our tokens as possible. And so if we can use another project like Meme Token to drive people in, drive a new audience, drive that NFT marketing in, we might as well promote Meme Coin, right? So it's like a collaborative effort where a smaller coin like Meme Coin can collaborate with a centralized exchange, and they can all get more liquidity into all of their projects, right? In crypto, it's kind of like PvP. So if Binance is competing with every other exchange, then they want as much volume as possible, which is why they would do something like this for Meme Coin. I will add that, you know, if you're participating in this and you're kind of like learning about this, you always got to be careful of how the game goes, right? Because when it comes to farming and earning APY and getting a percentage of your money back like very quickly, you have to be mindful that it's crypto and trading. Sometimes it's going to be PvP, or all the time it's PvP. When somebody makes money, someone's got to lose money. So even if someone promises any APY, not specifically talking about Binance or Meme Coin, but in general in the entire space, the API is like really high. Just understand that it doesn't always last forever. So you have to understand the market dynamics of that, right? We've seen like projects like Axie Infinity launched Ron token, right? And if you held Axie and you staked it, you would earn Ron, and then the price of everything crashed anyway. So even if you earn a bunch of Ron, it's not worth that much. You want to always like a history to see how things go, when, if you're coming in, when is your exit price, when do you want to get out, because for someone to make money, somebody has to lose. So always be careful. But overall, in general, over 3 billion worth of BNB, FUSD, and TUSD has been staked. Majority of that is going to be BNB, which is like 2.5 billion, and then, you know, 370 and 320 billion split between TUSD and FUSD. So it's a lot of money moving into meme coins. So let's see how this goes. All right, next project we're going to talk about is going to be my boy VegaGenesis, right? So I actually had the pleasure of meeting this guy in LA a while ago, and we had some ramen back in the day, and it's pretty sick to see that he is doing this hologram tour. So he is performing live through his Clone X, right? So it's pretty cool because like he's probably like pushing the envelope when it comes to using a Clone X to actually do something. Respect to him, and I'm sure it was a great time. If I was in LA, I definitely would be there. So anyways, that's everything we got to cover for this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to give it a like, subscribe, turn on notifications, and I will see you in the next one.